Martin from Continua, who will do the demo on Expense Manager. Okay, so for those of you who don't know us, Simply Dynamics, we're a software company based in Dublin with 26 staff, and we sell Dynamics 365 ERP and CRM solutions. That's all we do. We don't do anything else. We just do Dynamics 365 solutions. These days, 95% of our implementations are cloud-based, so Business Central Online, CRM Online, but we do still sell the on-prem solutions if required. Okay, so before I keep going, Aileen, everybody's admitted, are they?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thanks, Martin. Okay, so that's Simply Dynamics, software company, experts in Dynamics 365. It's all we do, selling cloud solutions. Today, we're going to have a look at an add-on for Dynamics 365 Business Central called Continua Expense Manager. And over the last few years, there's been a huge increase in the number of companies buying add-ons. I just want to go through why that is the case. And it's to do with a new thinking. So today, buyers are thinking differently when they're coming to the market to buy ERP or CRM solutions, be that Dynamics or be it another vendor. Today, people want to buy standard solutions. So they want to buy standard Business Central. And if there's some functionality that isn't there as standard in the product, the first protocol for those companies today is to see if there's an add-on on the marketplace that'll fit that requirement. So people are buying, contrast that with the old days where people want to do lots of customizations. Today, people want standard solutions. And why is that? Primarily, that's been driven because people are buying cloud solutions, and cloud solutions upgrade every month automatically in the background. And if your ERP is upgrading every month, if you've got standard Business Central, and if you've got standard add-ons plugged in, products such as Continua, that means your upgrades that happen monthly will work seamlessly. If you contrast that to somebody who's got a highly customized version of Business Central, every month when the upgrades happen in the background, those companies have to worry, will their customization still work after an upgrade? Another reason why these add-ons are growing in popularity is because when you buy an add-on from Continua or from one of the certified providers, they're certified by Microsoft, those add-ons. So you're buying into something that's quality assured by Microsoft. It's not a one-off piece of code developed for an individual requirement. It's a standard off-the-shelf piece of software that's approved by Microsoft. And all that leads to all that standard solution means that your implementation is a portable implementation. So if you're not happy with your supplier, it means it's much easier to move supplier when you've got standard Business Central together with standard plugins or add-ons plugged into it. And again, contrast that to the old days when somebody had a highly customized version of Dynamics. It made it very hard to move supplier. You were kind of tied down to the individual supplier that did all those customizations for you. So the message there is standard solutions with add-ons plugged in, add-ons such as Continua, which are Microsoft approved. And there on the right-hand side, you can see some of our Dynamics 365 customers, and some of them you'll recognize. And briefly, just to mention some of our other add-ons that we sell for Dynamics 365. These are some of our more popular add-ons. And Jet Reports, which is an Excel-based report writer. So if you like writing reports in Excel, if you're an Excel whiz, Jet Reports is an Excel add-in for Dynamics. On the other hand, if you like Power BI, we sell an add-on called Business Central Insights, which effectively is hundreds and hundreds of pre-built Power BI dashboards that you subscribe to. So instead of you going off yourself, spending weeks doing up all your financial and sales and purchasing dashboards, you can just buy them already built. Netronic, if you're using production or jobs in Dynamics and you want a visual scheduling tool, that's what Netronics is an add-on to enable that. Sana is an e-commerce solution for Dynamics. Continua have another add-on called Document Capture, which automates your accounts payable process using OCR technology. And Taslet is a mobile WMS add-on for operations in a warehouse running on mobile or tablet devices. Just a couple of housekeeping things then. If you have questions, you can type them into the chat as you go along, and we'll address them at the end altogether. Okay. The webinar has been recorded, so it'll be shared with everybody later. And for those who can't attend, they'll also receive a copy of the recording. And finally, if somebody wants to arrange a one-to-one session with Martin or myself afterwards to go through the expense manager or document capture, we can arrange that. So you'll all get a correspondence email afterwards, so we can arrange. You can come back to us via that email to arrange a one-to-one follow-up meeting or whatever it might be, or call. That's everything from my side, Martin. I'll stop sharing screen. I'll hand over to yourself if you want to share your screen.
Absolutely. So let me first start sharing, and then let's do a final check if you can see my screen.
Yeah,
yes. All right. Good afternoon, everybody, or I think still good morning to you, most of you. My name is Martin. I work for Continia, as Willy told you. And Continia is a software company that creates add-ons for Dynamics NAV and Business Central from Microsoft. We've got several, but today I will show you expense management, our solution for submitting expenses, mileage claims, and more from your mobile phone directly into your Business Central system. I want to start off with one PowerPoint slide that you see in front of you right now with an overview of the software on paper, and then I'll dive right into the software, showing to you how it looks like for the finance team. Then I will show you how we can submit expenses. Then I will show you the approval process, the posting of the expenses, and finding them back. So everything from beginning to end. As Willy told you, because we got a high number of people here, if you got a question, please type it into the chat box, and Willy will ask them to me at the end, and I will be able to answer them. So for now, expense management will be fully integrated into your Dynamics NAV or Business Central, so you do not have to switch application as the accounts payable team. And then on the left-hand side, we got the travelers, your colleagues who can submit expenses, and they can do that in two different ways. One, they can use an app on their mobile phone to submit the expenses, and we got an expense portal. The expense portal is basically the app in the form of a browser, and you can use both methods at the same time. If I look at myself, I travel quite a lot for Continia as well. I would say 95% I will use the app, but sometimes when I book like a flight, I usually do this on my laptop. I prefer that, and then I expense it via the expense portal. So yeah, you have two ways of getting the information across. Besides expenses, we can do mileage claims, per diems, groups of them together. So yeah, we can do more. All of this will be sent to Business Central, where the accounts payable team can process them. Then they can be sent off for approval, and then at the end they will be posted. We also have a connection with Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. If your bank allows it, the corporate credit card transactions can be uploaded directly into Business Central, and then expense management will try to match those credit card transactions to the receipts that the users have sent in, saving you as accounts payable team a lot of time getting the receipts matched to the credit card transactions. And also maybe a nice example of a functionality. Let's say a user forgets to send in a receipt. Instead of you reminding the user, the system will start chasing them. So it will send a notification to the person's app and to their portal. Please submit a receipt for this transaction as soon as possible, and we can set up reminders. So yeah, you'll be doing less chasing. Now, this is expense management on paper. I'm not a real big fan of PowerPoints. I really like to show you. So I've got a Business Central environment over here. Like I said before, it will also work in NAV, but in my demo, I'll talk about Business Central. In this first part, I want to show you how it looks like for the finance team, and then I'll switch over to the role of the expense user. So as the finance team, you can select a role center, and there you'll be able to see a couple of things. You can see how many expense reports came in and what is an expense report. This is something that an expense user can create, and they can bundle their expenses and mileage claims together into one big report. Maybe an example, when I fly over to Ireland to visit Willy and Eileen, for example, I will create an expense report calling it the Ireland trip. I will add my airline tickets to it, a rental car from the airport, a hotel, some food. And once I fly back in 2 days, I will close down that expense report. And then my approver, my director in this case, can see in one overview, okay, you spent 500 euros during this trip, as an example. So, and the finance team will see them coming in over here. Next to that, we will see individual expenses. Of course, you do not always have reports. You also have individual expenses. You'll see them coming in over here. Next to that, we'll see the credit card transactions coming in from the bank. Next to that, we can see how many mileage claims came in. And we got per diem. Per diem, I do not know if you use this within your companies, but with per diem, you can give people an allowance, and maybe instead of giving them money. So for example, you can say you cannot expense lunch, but we will give you 10 euros for lunch and you can choose how to spend that. We also see that per diem is being used when people, for example, are a night away from home, that you say, well, if you're a night away from home, we'll give you 25 euros extra as a compensation. Now, what I want to do, just before this demo, I uploaded some credit card transactions from my bank. The first time that I do this, I need to assign the card to a user, and then the system then knows if I see this credit card number, it belongs to this person within Business Central. This is a one-time exercise that I need to do, yeah, I'm pressing OK now. And now the system is basically checking, okay, this person used their credit card to buy some things. Did they also send in the receipt? If they did, it will be matched and everything will be okay. If not, it will send a notification to the user on their mobile phone and to their expense portal that they need to do that ASAP. If I go back here now, we can see we got 4 expenses over here. And if I click on it, we can basically see the screen where the finance team will process the expenses from now on. You get to see an overview of the expenses over here that you need to process, the attachments and the comments down below. As you can see, the attachments are missing. That's why it's blank over here on the right hand side. And we can see the status is pending expense user. So this user did not send in their receipts yet. What will help them in a second, of course. Before I'm going to do that, let me quickly talk you through these columns so you have a bit of an understanding what kind of information we want. You can see the person who submitted the expense, the date where the transaction took place, how they paid. And this is an important one, expense types. We believe that people submitting expenses are not finance people. They do not know how much VAT we can claim back, what general ledger account, something that needs to be posted to. But we do believe that they can categorize their expenses. So what you will do as a finance team, you will create your own expense types. And behind those expense types, you will code the general ledger account and how much VAT you want to claim back. So then for the user, it's easy to select in what category falls my expense. And then for you in the background, the posting will go automatically. Don't worry, the first it needs to be approved. You can always adjust it, but no more manual typing in of the lines. You can put in variations into this expense types, for example, based on country, based on user. So it is quite flexible. Next up, we'll see the description. We can see if somebody added attendees. We can see the status. Something has been put on hold. Who needs to approve it? The currency code, if it's blank, it's a local currency within your Business Central. We'll see the amount in a foreign currency, the amount in your local currency. And on the right-hand side, we see, in my example, department and customer group code. These are 2 examples of my dimensions. Yeah, like I said, it is a demo database, but basically you can add all of your dimensions, your jobs, cost centers to the app and let your colleagues fill that in. Now, at the top, the finance department has all the buttons that they need to approve or adjust the expenses and send them for approval. So we can do everything from here. I will get back to this later on, but now I want to switch over to the role of the expense user. For the time being, I want to show you the app for now, because yeah, that's being used the most, and the web expense portal is the same, but it looks as the app in the form of a browser, but the functionality is the same. So while this app is loading, it will work on iPhone and it will work on Android phones. And the app will look like this, like it's opening now. People can log in with their own credentials or with single sign-on. And this is how the app looks like. If you have multiple companies and you need to expense in multiple companies, you can switch between them over here. Next to that, we can add your company logo, or actually you can add your company logo. Maybe that's an important part. You will determine how this app looks like and what people need to fill in, yes or no. You can see new expense, new mileage claim, per diem, and a report. We see some open ones, create, and history. Let me start off with a new expense. Basically, it opens up this field where it says amount, date, payment type, expense type, description. Again, you can adjust this to your liking. And the ones with a red star are mandatory. And you will also determine what is mandatory to fill in for your colleagues. Then a user can click on the camera button. It will open up the camera and they can take a picture of the receipt. They can press the paper clip and then they can grab something from their mobile phone if maybe they've taken a picture earlier or they want a file or PDF to be added. Next to that, we'll see a template button. Users can create their own templates for maybe recurring expenses. So they can fill in all of these details, save it as a template, and next month when the receipt comes in, they click on this button, select the template, and then everything will be filled in automatically. In my demo, I have my picture stored over here because I do not have a camera where I can take a picture with. So let's say I click on this one. The system say, hey, did you take this photo? Yes, I did. And then we see a word called Smart Scan. The system then starts scanning the document and it will try to fill in as much as it can for you. So it found that it was £5.41. It found the date. Well, the payment type, I need to fill that in. I will say I bought this with my own money, so I get reimbursed. The expense type, I will say this was food. And then I can say in the description, let me remove this, lunch during IE trip, something like this. Then I can add allocation lines. We understand that a lot of receipts have multiple VAT amounts or multiple costs on them. And with allocation lines, a user can add multiple expense types to one expense claim. And for example, handy in a hotel where you can say, I want to allocate 100 euros to expense type hotel and 25 euros to expense type food during business trip. We could add this to a report if we want to, but for now I'm okay. Then I just swipe to the right and my expense is gone. And this is how easy a user can submit expenses. The system will really try to fill in as much as it can. They adjust it a little bit or add something and they can swipe to the right. Now, on the bottom left, you'll see open and you see a red dot. That red dot means for the user that they have open credit card transactions where they need to have a look at. So basically, this person has a corporate credit card. They maybe have a LinkedIn subscription running on their credit card, but they did not submit a receipt yet. Then the user will add that receipt like this. They can maybe say LinkedIn February 2023, something like this. And then they can press submit. So what we see is that people having a credit card, we see that a lot of them tend to forget to get these receipts. With easy reminders that they get like this, they will be able to quickly adjust that mistake. So this is how we can do expenses for a credit card or cash expenses. We can also do mileage claims. We use Google Maps for this. So if I, for example, I fly usually into Dublin Airport, and then I drive to Simply Dynamics. Dynamics, and that is in City West, if I'm correct. Yeah. And then what the system will do, it will calculate the route for me using Google Maps, like this, and then it will see I can also drive like this, for example, or like this, and then what I can do, I can add a description, visiting Willy, and then I can submit it. And it's very nice that we use Google Maps because then the users can just type in company names and it will find the address for them. Then afterwards, they can just send it, continue from there to another place or create a return trip as well. And then in the background, the finance team will code how much money they will get per mile or kilometer. The per diem, basically a person says when they leave and when they come back. And then based on the information that you have set up within your Business Central, people can say, well, I get paid for my breakfast and my lunch and my drinks, for example. And on the second day, I had accommodation and transport. I'm making something up here, but basically these rates are predetermined in Business Central by your company. And then I can say, visit customer A, and I can press submit. Per diem is not allowed in every country. I am from the Netherlands. In our country, this is not allowed because of tax reasons, but we know in Ireland and in the UK, it is being used more often. The reports, though, are being used a lot. It is very nice to keep track of things, bundle them together. So here I can say partner visit Ireland, and then I press create. And then I can add my expenses from here, my mileage claims or my per diems. What I can also do, let's say I use my credit card to book a hotel for next week for my Ireland trip. That is this hotel. I'll add the receipt. That's this one. I press select. And then instead of pressing submit, I will say add to report, partner visit Ireland, and save. And now it will be placed in here. On the bottom right, the user will see what they've submitted in their history, but they also get a notification if something gets approved or rejected. On the top right, we can see add an extra layer of security into the app, save images and photos, use only when the Wi-Fi is there. So yeah, we can do a lot on the app. Of course, because of time, I'm not showing you everything because I cannot show it all, but we do have a lot of more functionality in this where we can set up company limits. We have a secretary function. We can combine fields together. If somebody selects a certain expense type, maybe they have to fill in a project. All of these cool things are included as well, but this might be better for a one-on-one demo. Now, if I go back to Business Central, you can see that nothing has happened. That's because I switched off the automatic synchronization. Otherwise, I basically want to explain what is happening. Now all the data gets picked up and will be imported into Business Central. In your company, we can automate this, that it will maybe check once per hour which expenses has been filled in. There we go. And now we can see, if I look on the right-hand side, I get to see my receipt. I can see I bought something with, or this person bought something with their own money. It was food, it was a lunch during their trip. And here we can see that they have a LinkedIn for February, their subscription running. They can see it over here as well. And the same goes, of course, for your mileage claims. And you get to see a nice picture of the Google Maps like this. Now, this is how people can get their information across to you. Then we can also approve this information, and we can do that in our web approval portal, which allows you to approve on your mobile phone, on your iPad, basically anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. Or we can approve within Business Central, and that's what I'll be doing today. So here, if I'm an approver, I will click on a link because you will get an email that you have something to approve, and your company can schedule that email to come whenever you want it to be, once a day, once every 2 days. Yeah, you can schedule it. And then here we get to see the receipt on the right-hand side, an overview of what it is, and then the approver has the option to approve it. They also have an option to reject it, but if they reject it, they must fill in a reason why, because the user gets to see the reason why it got rejected, and that hopefully saves a lot of questions towards the finance department. They can forward it, put it on hold if there's a query, add comments. If an approver is out of office, they can set up. If an approver is out of office, they can set that up over here, and then the approval will be forwarded to somebody else. They can also see some details, and if I press approve, then the user will be notified that their expense got approved. Now, I'll quickly do this for now. And then basically the expenses come to their final stage. They will get the status released, and released expenses can be posted. We can do that one by one in their batch, and we can automate it. And then what will happen? You can basically set up the expense users as vendors within your system or as employees. That's whatever you prefer. They will be posted to either of the two. And then if they use their corporate credit card, they will not get paid, of course. If they paid something with their own money, they will get paid, and you will determine when you pay them. It's like a normal vendor payment. Now, let me post them real quickly. And now they are gone. So now we basically have gone through the complete process from beginning to end. Maybe a quick recap. If I look at ourselves, a couple of years ago, we didn't have expense management. I would travel a lot, put all the receipts in my wallet. At the end of the month, I would open up a nice Excel sheet. I'll start filling in everything, print it out, put it in a big envelope, give it to my director. He would go through it and approve it. He would give it to the finance department. They would start typing everything in, then archive it, and then pay me at the end of the month. So it was a lot of work for everybody. Nowadays, I just take a photo of the receipt. The system will scan as much information as it can. I just add something, I press send, and it's gone. My director prefers to approve once a week. So on Friday morning, he gets an email that he needs to approve. He does that. The finance team has a final look if everything is okay, and then they can post it either manually or automatically. And then, yeah, they're done, and they should only do the payment, and the archiving is already done. So it will save a lot of time for the 3 parties involved. To find the documents back, this is the last thing in this webinar. Basically, everywhere where the receipt touches something within Business Central, you can open it. So you can open it from the vendor card, employee card, the general ledger accounts, posted documents. Yeah, it's very easy to find them back. If I go to posted expenses, you can see who approved it. And the receipt, you always get to see that on the right-hand side from now on. This was a very fast talking for me, and I hope you could follow me, because I can imagine that it was a lot of information. But this is what expense management can do in a nutshell. Like I said before, we can go into a lot more details, and we can do a lot of more, cool things. If you want to see those things, please contact Willy or your other contact at Simply Dynamics, and we'll schedule a one-on-one session with you and your team. You can, and I can show you everything. But for now, I hope you like this, and thank you for listening. And Willy, are there any questions so far?
Yeah, there's 4 questions, Martin. I'll call them out to you, will I? So firstly, the first question is, someone is asking, when expenses are submitted by a user, does that submission go to a manager for approval before being routed to the accounts payable team?
No, the approval happens after, but the expense is not posted yet. So it is just like an unposted expense within your system. Okay.
And same person is asking, can expense categories be coded to different cost centers depending on the user?
Then the answer is yes, but what I would do is you can do 2 things. You can either say for the user, once they select a certain expense type, then a cost center will pop up that they need to fill in, and you can filter that per user, or you can put in the cost centers on that user already. On their vendor card or employee card, so that all the expenses will be posted under that certain cost center from that person to make it easier for them.
So that's a yes. Next question is, you mentioned single sign-on, and the question is, does this mean Microsoft single sign-on so that their IT team can control access in relation to company phones and devices?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then next question, for mileage, can you add a deduction for normal commute distances?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Commute distance, you mean like home to work, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 100%.
Okay. And there is a 5th question being typed at the moment. I'm waiting for it to be.
Oh, exciting.
waiting for to see the text. Okay.
Sure.
So the last question for now. Is mileage limits linked to Irish civil service rates? Are they updated centrally if the changes in Irish civil rates?
No, you need to fill in the rates yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's all the questions, Martin.
All right. Good questions. Thank you. And again, I hope you liked it, and thank you all for coming in big numbers to the Simply Dynamics webinar. Hopefully we'll hear from you soon. Willy will do a follow-up, and it's no bother for us to do a one-on-one session. So please contact Willy, and we'll get that sorted very soon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you'll get a follow-up email along with a link to the recording. So don't hesitate to get in touch if you want to do a follow-on session.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. No more questions, Martin.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice
one. And I wish you a nice day, all of you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.